In our lives, we get angry more often than we think. Not because of major reasons, but because of a small comment, a careless glance, or a situation that didn't go as expected. These tiny things ignite a fire inside us. And that fire spreads faster than we realize. That moment on your morning commute when someone steps on your foot and walks away without apologizing. That moment in a meeting when your opinion gets dismissed. That moment when a thoughtless comment from a family member hits you. That moment when you see someone's social media post and feel inexplicable irritation rising. In all these moments, a fire ignites within us. And that fire spreads faster than we think. At first, it burns small, but if we keep staring at it, keep thinking about it, keep replaying it, before we know it, it consumes our entire mind. Today, we're going to talk about this anger from a slightly different angle. Not because anger is a bad emotion, but to understand where our anger is directed. Anger often feels like something given to us by others. That person made me angry. That situation made me furious. I'm like this because of what they said. We think this way. As if anger was injected from outside. But if we look carefully, anger always burns from within. The person is already gone from that place, the words have already passed, the scene has ended. Yet the anger continues to live inside me. Even when lying in bed before sleep, even when waking up the next morning, even days later, that moment keeps coming back. I should have said this. I should have reacted that way. Why did I just stand there? Each time these thoughts repeat, the fire reignites. The person feeding that fire, the person pouring oil on it, is ultimately myself. Let me point out one important fact here. Anger itself is not the problem. Anger is a natural emotion. It's a normal response that every human being experiences. The problem is how we handle that anger. Feeling anger and being controlled by anger are completely different things. The most frightening thing about anger is that while it appears to protect us, it actually drains our energy the most. After expressing anger, our body gets exhausted. Our heart races, blood pressure rises, muscles tense up. After speaking harshly, our mind feels empty. Even after winning, we don't feel refreshed. Because anger is not a fire that burns others first, it burns us first. Looking at actual scientific research, anger significantly impacts our body. The stress hormone cortisol surges, the immune system weakens, and the risk of cardiovascular disease increases. Chronic anger is also linked to anxiety, depression, and insomnia. When we express anger at someone, it doesn't hurt them. The one who hurts is ourselves. When you think about it, anger never changes the future. It just reburns, rechews, and replays what has already happened. It stays stuck in the past, continuously replaying that scene. In that process, our energy drains away, our focus crumbles, and our entire day gets consumed by that one emotion. On days when we have an important meeting, an important presentation, time with loved ones. Even on those days, our mind is filled with something that happened days ago. We should be living in the present, but we're held captive by the past. That's why anger, even when it seems justified, even when it feels reasonable, in most cases leaves us with almost nothing. I was right. I had reason to be angry. This might be true. But being right doesn't always mean it's beneficial. But there's one important fact. Anger is not an emotion that needs to be eliminated. Anger is a signal. A line has been crossed. I'm being disrespected right now. My values are being shaken right now. My boundaries are being violated right now. Anger is a warning sound sent by our mind. Just like a warning light on a car dashboard, anger tells us that something is going wrong. The question is how we act upon hearing that signal. What do we do when a car warning light comes on? We first stop the car and check the situation. We examine what the problem is. We don't ignore the warning light and keep driving, or just turn off the light and neglect the problem. Anger is the same. When the signal of anger comes, we need to pause and ask, what is this anger telling me? What part of me has been touched? What value of mine feels threatened? Many people react immediately the moment they feel anger. They pour it out in words, show it in expressions, explode it in actions. But the more immediately we react to anger, the bigger it grows. When fire meets wind, it burns larger. Anger is the same. An immediate reaction is like blowing wind on it. So when we're angry, the first thing to do is not to solve it, but to create distance. You don't have to judge right now. You don't have to draw conclusions right now. You don't have to respond right now. Just try saying this. I'm angry right now. A fire has ignited inside me. The emotion of anger is rising right now. With just this one sentence, anger begins to lose some of its power. Why is that? Anger grows stronger the more I and emotion are stuck together. When we think I am angry, I and anger become one. But the moment we recognize it's not that I am anger, but rather there is anger inside me, I can step back from the emotion. The fire weakens by that distance. It's like watching a movie. When you're immersed as the main character versus watching from an audience perspective, they're completely different experiences. Anger is the same. When we're completely absorbed in anger, I become the anger itself. But when we step back and observe, there's anger inside me right now, I become the person experiencing anger. This difference is huge. You can actually practice this. When you're angry, try saying this in your mind. My heart is racing right now. My fists are clenching right now. My face is getting hot right now. My voice is about to rise. Just describing your state from an observer's perspective weakens the anger. We often mistakenly believe that we need to express anger to appear strong. Holding back feels like losing, letting go feels like being disrespected, staying still feels like being taken advantage of. Especially in our society, there's a perception that if you don't get angry, people will see you as easy. That person just stays quiet no matter what you say. Easy target. Because of this thinking, we sometimes feel we need to get angry as a means of self-defense. But in reality, the person who can control their anger is the strongest person. Many people know how to get angry, but few know how to delay their anger. Anyone can get angry. It's an instinctive reaction. But the person who can pause for a beat when anger surges, think, and choose, that person is truly strong. Real strength isn't in enduring, but in choosing whether to spend my energy on this emotion right now, or to preserve it. Anger demands my time, demands my focus, demands my peace. We don't always have to respond to those demands. Think about it. Let's say your boss said something unreasonable at work. Anger surges in that moment. Here you have choices. React immediately and confront, or pause for a beat and assess the situation. What happens if you react immediately? You might get momentary satisfaction. A sense of I said what I needed to say. But what about after that? The relationship deteriorates, the atmosphere gets cold, and later regret floods in. On the other hand, if you pause for a beat, you can judge whether responding right now is the best option. You could talk calmly later in private, or report it to higher management. Or you could assess how important this situation is to your career, and if necessary, start preparing to change jobs. You gain options. When you're angry, try asking yourself this. How important is this anger in my life? Will it still matter in a day? Will it still mean something in a week? What about in a month, or a year? Most anger becomes smaller than we think in the face of time. Things that feel like the world is ending right now, after time passes, we simply move on thinking that happened. Then why should we pour so much energy into that moment? There's one useful method. It's called the October 10 rule. Before making a decision or reacting, ask yourself, how will this decision affect me in 10 minutes? What about in 10 months? What about in 10 years? The same applies to anger. If I express this anger, how will I feel in 10 minutes? Probably still angry, or slightly regretful. What about in 10 months? Probably won't even remember it well. What about in 10 years? Completely forgotten. Then, is it worth pouring all my energy into this anger right now? The shorter anger lasts, the better. The longer you hold on to it, the greater the loss. Some people hold on to anger for years. They vividly remember something that happened years ago, still hate that person, still resent that situation. That person did that to me back then. I can never forget it. But think about it. What is that person doing right now? Probably not even thinking about you. Living their own life. Yet you're still tied to that person, that moment. Who's losing out? So if you felt anger, you need to practice ending it quickly. Don't try to force it away, but naturally cool it down. One of the best methods is to move your body first. Take a walk, drink water, or breathe slowly. When the body calms, the mind follows. Why is that? Anger is more influenced by the body's state than we think. When we're angry, actual physical changes occur in our body. Adrenaline is released, muscles tense, breathing quickens. This is the ancient fight-or-flight response. When faced with danger, preparing to fight or flee. The problem is that in modern society, we rarely actually fight or flee. Even when a boss says something unreasonable, we can't solve it with fists, and when someone steps on your foot on the subway, you can't run away right there. So this energy gets trapped inside the body. This is when physical activity is needed. Walking releases that energy. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system and calms the body. Drinking water also helps. Research shows that dehydration actually increases irritation and anger. Let me share some specific methods. First, the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and slowly exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeat this 3 to 4 times and your body will noticeably calm down. Second, the grounding technique. When you're angry, bring your awareness to the present moment. How does the sole of my foot feel touching the ground right now? What am I seeing right now? What sounds do I hear right now? Focusing on present sensations like this weakens anger's energy. Third, the timer technique. When you're angry, set a timer for 10 minutes. And decide, I'll think about this again in 10 minutes. For those 10 minutes, do something else. Listen to music, or work on another task. After 10 minutes, in most cases, the intensity of anger will have significantly decreased. And here's something to remember. Anger doesn't change others. But it can exhaust you. No matter how much you're angry, the other person likely won't change. They might even think, why are they acting like that, seeing your anger? While you're tossing and turning all night thinking about it, they're sleeping comfortably. While you're thinking about it on your commute, they're enjoying a peaceful morning with coffee. Who's losing out? That's why letting go of anger isn't about forgiving the other person, it's about protecting yourself. Let me clarify something here. Letting go of anger doesn't mean what that person did was okay. It doesn't mean I forgive that person either. It simply means I will no longer spend my energy on this. The other person's wrong is still wrong. But I don't need to continue suffering because of that wrong. Forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for me. Letting go of hatred isn't a gift to the other person, it's a gift to myself. You don't have to respond to every fight. You don't have to react to every word. Silence is not defeat, but choice. Let's say someone left a critical comment about you on social media. You're angry. You want to argue back. You want to explain your position. But think about it for a moment. What will change if you get into an argument with that person? Will you feel better if you win? Maybe for a moment. But that person will leave another comment. Then you have to respond again. It never ends. On the other hand, if you just ignore it, it might feel frustrating at first. But over time, that comment gets buried among other posts and disappears. You can spend your time and energy on more valuable things. Which is the wiser choice? There are countless injustices in the world. If we react to all of them, 24 hours a day wouldn't be enough. We must respond selectively. Is this worth my response? Is this worth my time and energy? Will my life improve if I win this fight? Try asking yourself these questions. Controlling anger isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about deciding where to spend your energy. My energy is limited. There's a limit to the mental energy and emotional energy we can use in a day. Just like a phone battery. Even if we start the morning at 100% charge, it depletes throughout the day. We can choose which apps to use our battery on. Anger is an app that consumes an enormous amount of battery. If you keep the anger app running all day, you won't have enough battery for important tasks. Whether to burn all that energy in the fire of anger, or use it as a lamp to illuminate my life, that's my choice. Think about it. Let's say the energy you can use today is 100. In the morning commute, you bumped into someone and got angry. You spend 20 energy there. At work, your boss's words irritated you. You spend 30 energy there. During lunch, you saw an unpleasant post on social media. You spend 20 energy there. Already 70 is consumed. What can you do with the remaining 30? Your hobby after work? Not enough energy. Conversation with family? Already exhausted, only irritation comes out. Self-improvement? No capacity left to think. You just lie in bed looking at your phone and fall asleep. Is this the life we want? On the other hand, what if we manage anger well? The morning bump, you just let it go. Mistakes happen, you only spend 5 energy. Your boss's words, you pause and decide to respond calmly later. You spend 10 energy. The social media post, you just scroll past. 0 energy. You spent only 15 total, leaving 85. What can you do with this energy? You can exercise, read books, spend enjoyable time with friends. You can learn something new, do creative work. The quality of life becomes completely different. When you're angry, recall this sentence in your mind. Anger is a fire that burns my energy. And ask yourself how much more oil you want to pour on that fire. This requires practice. No one can perfectly control anger overnight. At first, you'll only realize, oh, I got angry again long after you've been angry. That's okay. That's also progress. With more practice, you'll realize right after you've expressed anger. With more practice, you'll realize while you're expressing anger. With more practice, you'll realize right before expressing anger. And at some point, you'll be able to feel anger rising but not be swept away by it. This is like exercise. The first time you go to the gym, even light weights are difficult, but as you consistently train, you can lift heavier and heavier. Emotional regulation is the same. The more you practice, the stronger you become. And one more thing. The goal isn't to perfectly eliminate anger. The goal isn't to become someone who never feels anger. The goal is to develop the power to notice when you feel anger and to choose your response. I'm angry right now. But I won't be controlled by this emotion. I will choose how to respond. Becoming someone who can think like this. That's the goal. Even at this very moment, you've endured enough. The countless frustrations, betrayals, disappointments, and anger you've experienced in life. You've overcome all of it and made it here. You don't have to carry all the anger with you. What you can let go of, you can let go. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. A strong person isn't someone who endures everything. A strong person is someone who knows what to hold on to and what to let go. You have that strength. Feeling anger is human. But not being controlled by anger, that is maturity. Try practicing from today. Each time you get angry, pause for a beat. Acknowledge I'm angry right now. Ask yourself, is this anger worth my energy? At first, it will feel awkward and difficult. But as you continue, it will gradually become easier. And at some point, you'll find yourself becoming a different person. You'll discover that in the same situations, you're no longer as angry as before. In that moment, you'll realize how much freedom the power to control anger brings. Anger is a natural emotion. We can't live a lifetime without feeling anger. But we can choose how to handle anger. Your energy is precious. Your time is limited. Your heart deserves protection. Don't burn everything you have in the fire of anger. Use that energy to cultivate what you love. Use that time to build the life you want. Use that heart to treat yourself and those around you with warmth. If this video has lowered the fire in your heart even a little, that's enough. You're already doing well enough. Now it's okay to be a little kinder to yourself. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please subscribe and like. I wish you a peaceful day.